Hello, welcome to Learning Ways 365. Today we are going to start a new series. This series is one day, one concept, and it is quite easy, as well as we will make the things very concise, very small, so that we will not take much time of you and you will learn a lot in short span of time, right? So we are starting it from a most important concept, which is asked in a number of examinations, right? So that is fundamental rights. Uh, so so let us start. So you follow this channel and subscribe and like, so follow it, okay? So fundamental rights, okay, fundamental rights, they are the soul of our constitution. So they are in part 3 of our constitution and included in article 12 to article 35. Okay, that is inspired from American constitution, and you know that American constitution was the first constitution in the world who bring the fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are also known as government of laws, not of men. Okay, so only the laws go on these fundamental rights, and these are not just the statement of men. Okay, so that is, fundamental rights are also known as the fundamental law of the land. So it included from article number 12 to article number 35. So article number 12, that is just the definition of the state. So first of all, what is state? Okay, the state is any executive or legislative body, organ of union or state. It can be the subject of a union or a state. Okay, so that is the state, as well as municipalities, panchayats, as well as statutory or non-statutory bodies are also are in the ambit of state. Okay, so and as well as there are some private bodies as well which work as the instrument of the government, so they are also come in state. Okay, so then we go on to article number 13. Article number 13 is the definition of law. It is not the direct definition of law, but it is more about it imply the definition of the state. Okay, so law, so it include laws inconsistent with fundamental rights are void, are not valid. Okay, if any law made by the parliament, made by state legislature, or any executive action or any non-legislative action, they are all, if they are inconsistent with the fundamental rights, then they are not valid. So that is the definition of law, and it included the ordinance by president or the state governor as well. So out of this, the judicial review, the concept of judicial review come out, and judicial review is the thing that the Supreme Court can use it to check the validity of any law, whether it is consistent with fundamental rights or not. The Supreme Court will decide it on the basis of doctrine of judicial review. Okay, if there is any law which is inconsistent with fundamental rights and any person file a petition or file a writ in Supreme Court regarding that, then Supreme Court by doctrine of judicial review can check whether that law is consistent with fundamental laws, fundamental rights or not. Okay, so that's how Supreme Court is the guardian of fundamental rights. So now we go forward on article number 14 to article number 18, which are also known as the right to equality. Okay, so article number 14 state that equality before law and equal protection of laws. Equality before law means all men are equal. All men are equal, irrespective of their status, their background, their powers. Okay, all are equal before law. And equal protection of laws mean every law is equal for every person. Okay, there is no difference in any person. Okay, I want to say that the laws are equal for every person. Okay, all men are equal before the law, and every law is equal for every man. Okay, so then we go on to article number 15, and that is the prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Okay, the prohibition of discrimination. No one can discriminate the person on the basis of his or her religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Okay, so that means no discrimination. Okay, and then we go on article number 16, that say equality of opportunity in case of public employment. Okay, so that's how the government provide equal opportunity when they have to employ the people in public offices. Okay, and this is where the quota system come in, when equality of opportunity, because we know that the people belong to lower category, some depressed section of the society. They lag in the resources, so they provide the quota system so that they can fight and they can have the position similar to the general category people. Okay, so then we go on to article number 17. Article number 17 says abolition of untouchability and prohibition of its practice. You know that when India just just become an independent dominion, still lots of differences exist between the society. So to abolish those all differences, the law provision against discrimination as well as the provision of untouchability. Untouchability is totally abolished. Okay, in some regions it was in practice, but for that, to remove that untouchability, it is totally abolished. And there are many laws are made that in case of violation of those, the aggrieved person can directly move to the Supreme Court for justice. Okay, so then we go on article number 18. That's abolition of titles except educational and military. Like Maharajas, Rajas, Nawabs, they are all abolished. Now only remain educational and military, like Lieutenant General or the doctor for the doctorate degree. And then we go on to article number 19 to article number 22, which are right to freedom. Okay, so we go on to right to freedom. So article number 19 give 6 types of freedom, which is number 1, freedom for free expression, free speech and expression. Then he can move to any part of the country without any restriction, and then he can have residence in any part of the country, as well as he can have any profession of his likes, and then he can make any assembly or any association. These all laws are protected by right to freedom. Any person, they can have free speech, they can say, but these all rights are not absolute, these are qualified. Okay, by being qualified, that they have certain restrictions. Okay, you cannot say anything against anyone. Okay, like the contempt of court, you cannot say anything to on the judgment of Supreme Court, like, okay, that is what we saw recently in the news. Okay, the contempt of court. And then we go on to article number 20, that is protection in respect of conviction for offenses. Okay, in respect of conviction for offenses, there will be the protection given by the state. Article number 21 is right to life and personal liberty. Okay, everyone have the right to life, okay, and personal liberty. Then we go on article number 21A, that is right to elementary education. And you know that this is added in 44th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1978, Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, and then we go on article number 22, and that is freedom against arrest and detention in certain cases. Okay, so remember it. Okay, so that is article number 22. And then we go on to article number 23 to 24, which are right against exploitation. Okay, article number 23, that is protection of trafficking in human beings and forced labor. Okay, you cannot have the forced labor to anyone, and you cannot traffic the human against their wishes. Okay, then we go on to article number 24, and that is provision on employment of children in factories or any hazardous work. Okay, you cannot employ children in factories or any kind of hazardous work, you cannot take from them. Okay, and then we go on to article number 25 to 28, which are freedom of religion. Okay, so article number 25 said freedom of conscience, free expression, free profession, and practice and propagation of religion. They can practice and propagate religion according to the norms of their wishes. Okay, then come article number 26, that they have the freedom to manage their religious affairs according to themselves. Okay, they have the freedom to manage their religious affairs at their own. And then go on to article number 27, which are freedom from payment of taxes for promotion of religion. Okay, there will not be any taxes levied on them for the promotion of religion. And then go on to article number 28, that is freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain educational institution. Okay, you may have seen that certain educational institution have some religious instruction or certain ways of worship. So a person who is not comfortable with those things, they can leave, and they have the freedom. They cannot, if they want, they will not be forced to attend those religious instructions or religious worships. Okay, so then we go on to article number 29. So article number 29 is protection of language, script, and culture of minorities. You may have seen a Tamang minority of Arunachal Pradesh, which is Tamang language, which is recently going to extinct, that only about 252 people are there who speak this language. So the constitution gives the fundamental rights to protect any language, script, and culture of minorities. And then article number 30, that is right to establish and administer any educational institution by minorities. Okay, if minorities want to establish and administer any educational institution, they are free to do it. They have the fundamental rights to do it. And then article number 31, that was land reforms, but it is now a legal right, not a fundamental right now no more, and that is about 300 maybe. Okay, and then we go on to article number 32, that is right to constitutional remedies. Okay, if a person is aggrieved in case of violation of a fundamental right, then he can move to Supreme Court and file writ in Supreme Court, including the habeas corpus, then mandamus, and then prohibition, certiorari, and the covenant. So we go on to article number 33. So then that is fundamental rights are not applicable in military or in any intelligence agency, because they have to maintain their strict discipline and they cannot be so much free. They cannot provide fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are not applicable to military or intelligence agency or any of the agency which is really very much of great, I mean, who the departments who have the critical information. Okay, so then we go on to article number 34, which is restriction of fundamental rights in case of military rule in force. You may have seen that there are some regions where military rule was employed, like you see the J&K. For some time there was military rule at certain extent of the time. So in those cases, the fundamental rights are certain fundamental rights are restricted. They are not fully given to them at that time. And then come article number 35. So that says that Parliament can make laws to enforce fundamental rights, although for all fundamental rights are enforceable and justiciable in any court of law. What Parliament is free to make any law for the enforcement of fundamental rights. This right is not applicable to state legislature. Okay, for them it is not applicable. Only Parliament can make. Okay, so that is so that's all about the fundamental rights. I tried my best to complete it in a short span of time. So I hope you will like it and follow me. Follow Learning Ways 365. We are coming with one day, one concept, and that's all. In any query or any, you can also have a feedback, right? So thank you very much.